So I'm here with a set of fantastic speakers today. Please join me in welcoming Corina Gheonea, Director of UiPath Community, Hasit Trivedi, CTO Digital Technologies and Global Head AI Tech Mahindra, Suhas Shivanna, Strategist and Chief Architect HPE, Rajaneesh Kini, Senior Vice President and CTO Cyient, Mukesh Jain, CTIO, Vice President and Global Head of Innovation Capgemini, and Sujay Phadke, Principal Engineering Manager, Corporate CTO Organization, Persistent Systems. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show and thank you for being a part of the TechGig Gladiators 2022 Grand Finale. And I'm looking forward to some interesting insights from each one of you. But before I go ahead and ask questions to each one of you, I would want each one of you to tell me how excited you are for being a part of this Grand Finale and what you're looking forward to. So, Corina, let's begin with you.
Thank you. An honor to be here. Excited to be here. So each year, the grand finale, I see it as a celebration of the year, a celebration of innovation. So many participants, so many amazing ideas. Looking forward to see who the winners are. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Corina. Mukesh?
This is always exciting for being part of this platform. I've been associated with this for almost 8 years now, and definitely looking forward for some great innovations, some great minds, how they code, and then looking forward for the finale. Thank you.
Thank you, Mukesh. Hasit?
I think this is a fantastic platform and very appropriate timely also, because I think the way industry is growing, the way the digital technologies are being adopted, these kind of platform will bring the industry and programmers and participants together. And this collaboration through the industry is very fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Suhas?
Pleasure to be here as part of the grand finale, and looking forward for all the innovations that will be showcased in the coming hours.
Thank you so much, Suhas. Rajaneesh?
Pleasure to be here and very excited to be part of this enormous event. I think events like this, with size and scale, are not easy to conduct. So congratulations, and looking forward to a major event like this today.
Thank you so much, Rajneesh. Sujay?
Hi, so this is my first time here. So looking forward for the best of the solutions to come out.
Thank you so much, Sujay. So now let's create more excitement of sharing the insights that you're here for. We're here, we are in a coding competition, and I would want to start with that first. So time has evolved, and we see a lot of relevance of these coding competitions and hackathons coming in. But what, as experts, you think of the relevance and how do you think it has evolved over the time is something that I would want to know from each one of you. So, Corina, let's begin with you. What do you think, how the relevance has changed and how do you think it has evolved with time when it comes to coding competitions and hackathons?
Yeah, definitely are more and more serious, but also fun. So hackathons keep the fun of it, but you can be bold through hackathons. It's a nice playground for people that want to push themselves a bit more or want to showcase a bit more of their work. It's the best opportunity to innovate, to push things further, people to listen to you, leaders to listen to you, and to have a voice, to have a say. This is a really, really nice way. It's becoming more and more serious. So year over year, I see as well how many other leaders are looking forward to get to meet the participants, see the innovative ideas, and then also the follow-up, making those real. So I think it's an important way of innovating in the business space, in the technology space.
Thanks, Corina, for that. I'll move to Hasit now.
Yeah. I think let's see the world of sports, music, and art. Most of these spaces are full of competition, isn't it? So I think why the industry like ours should be away from that competition. And I think what competition brings is excellence, champions, spirit of losing gracefully, spirit of recovering from failure. And if you go by the way the sportsman emerges, they reinvent themselves, because the games are changing, the competitions are changing. Now in the similar fashion, in IT industry, the technologies are changing so rapidly, and thus a programmer or developer needs to reinvent their skill on an ongoing basis. And this kind of platform, which never existed few years back at a scale, right? Of course, it was in some subscale it was there, but at the scale it exists. Now there's a platform to reinvent yourself, try it out yourself, experiment some of the great stuff, and get yourself measured against the competition. So it's a fantastic platform which is emerging, and it will make all the professional in this space more matured, more competitive, more skilled, and many champions will emerge from it. So it's a fantastic way of scaling this piece.
Thank you, Hasit. We'll move to Mukesh.
Sure. So I think in a system where we are, the education system, a lot of people learn new things, a lot of people are learning the technology part, but then they get some good score and all. But that probably is not enough right now to be able to evaluate whether they will be able to do great stuff at the level what we want in the maturity of the code we write and the optimized code and so on. So platforms like Gladiator definitely helps us get the best out of these people, and especially when there's a competition, people do more, and that's what my learning has been. Like people will do more, people will compete, people will learn more, and that becomes easier for us as an organization to pick some of the best talent from those as well. The innovation part. So right now, when they are learning from scratch, bottom up, which is more on academia focus, they may not get that exposure. But Code Gladiator and interaction with some of us gives that exposure to these kids, to students, to do a lot more innovation with this. So definitely this is evolving. And for us as an organization, this becomes a good yardstick or good starting point for us to evaluate between 10 people with the similar skills. Otherwise, that's what I would say the benefits of these hackathons are.
Thank you, Mukesh. Rajneesh?
Sure. I think hackathons are the need of the industry today, right? So there are so many new technologies coming up, so many diverse talent needs coming up. So, and we need it all like yesterday, right? So this is definitely one of the key needs of the industry. But three things that I would call out that we leverage, or generally industry leverages hackathons for me. One is definitely looking for talent need, right? Addressing the talent need. Second one, where you see a big impact, is idea generation, right? So you come up with a very abstract topic and then see what kind of ideas are coming, and so many a times you're really surprised with the ideas that you see on the board, right? So that's big. The third thing I would say is speed of innovation, right? So innovation, there is no other place where innovation happens with such speed, because you are bringing in various people together, right? And the intensity or the intelligence from various groups coming together in such a short time is huge potential for innovations as well. So really something that industry will leverage going forward on a continuous basis. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajneesh. Suhas?
Yeah, I think great points made by other panelists, right? So I'll just take the word skill. I think for the modern problems that we are facing, skill building is going to be very, very key, right? We are dealing with complex problems, and it is just not technology skills, problem solving skills are needed, but we also need the innovation skills that Rajaneesh and others covered. We need the collaborative skills, and if you have leadership skills and right emotional skills, you have a complete package. What I feel with these hackathons and competition, right, competitive programming, is that people can develop the three skills that are required: problem solving, innovation, and collaborative skills. Because you need to work with people, get to know, right, understand that you can agree to disagree in many cases and then solve the problem, right? And then it helps you to come out of the comfort zone. That's very, very key for me, right? The second part, if you look at what's happening in India, is coding, right? Kids are starting coding at a very young age. And these competitions, if done at the right level, for example, we have a competition called HP Code Wars, which is for 9th and 12th standard, can help again build the skills, and we will have Bill Gates coming out of India and churning out code, new operating system, etc. Right? So that's very good for India as well as the IT industry. The third part, it is just not hiring; it's about developing and engaging that existing talent in the industry. Right? Sometimes we need to give them the right challenge, and these platforms will help us do all these things. So overall, I think Code Gladiators and all the competition, it's very important for the IT industry.
Thank you, Suhas. Sujay?
Hi. So, you have to look at a hackathon from multiple angles, right? So one of the angles is creativity. So what tends to happen with very technical people is that they are focused right on the, their job and what problem they are solving. But the world needs more Steve Jobs and more Richard Bransons, and these people are not necessarily technical, they're creative. So it's very important to bring that aspect out of yourself. The second aspect I feel is that technical people tend to become fish in a pond. So you are within a group, you're working on a set of things, but then you tend to again focus too much, right? But an opportunity like Code Gladiators, you become a fish in an ocean. So you know what is out there, you learn a lot more, and you change. So both ways it is good.
Rightly said, Sujay. I think that fish quote that you just made. It's a pool that we create for people and organizations wherein you pick up and look for your solutions. So I agree with you. Corina, I'll move to you. You are actually managing the entire community, right? There, and this is like a sole responsibility that you do. Like it's an everyday process for you. Help me understand that how are hackathons and coding contests being leveraged to pick up the best talent? So they just mentioned, that it's a pool that we create, and you have to look at it that way. Tell me, how do you pick up the right talent? What is your approach? How do you envision it?
Yeah, definitely. So hackathons are things that we do. The hackathons are embedded in the DNA of our community. In a way, the hackathons were there when we started with the community. It was something that they loved to do, to participate, and we still continue to run hackathons. What we do around hackathons is that we ensure there is an ecosystem. So it's not just we keep you there only to focus on the idea, and then you have the presentation, and in the end you win, and that's all. So it's an entire ecosystem, it's an entire celebration that brings together recruiters, that brings together other technology partners, recruiters from other partners and customers. As jury members, we try to put jury members as diverse as possible for that talent that joins the competition to be able to be exposed and to be able to get to network and collaborate with so many others. In the end, to get to have maybe a new job, a new opportunity, a new project, if this is something that they the attention of leaders or of new other partners, focus quite a lot on this entire ecosystem that gets built with this intention of talent to be also recognized. So we put their mentors, we try to combine the recruiting techniques that are there, like a CV, an interview and all that. We try to bring those to be as immersive as possible. So if someone really wants to recruit, we just let them know, be part of the hackathon, ensure you have mentors, ensure you guide the team. Like for them to be there in the entire process and not to go just with the formal way of doing a recruiting and matching talent with companies. So this is what we try. We try to be innovative with hackathons.
Corina, there were some disturbances in between. Can you just like re-record that part a little for you? Because in the end, it went well, but in the beginning, it was a little. So just try and re-answer that for me once.
Which part?
The starting part, at least.
Yeah.
Or if you can just comprehensively give me, a brief of the entire thing that you've just spoken. That would be good. We'll use.
Yeah. So the main thing for us to ensure that like hackathons are not just simple basic hackathons with that piece of it, like there is a brief, you solve it, you win. So what we do is that we build an ecosystem where many stakeholders, technology partners, recruiters get to know and get to collaborate with the participants. So this is something that we try to do when building a hackathon, an entire playground, an entire ecosystem.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Corina. I think how you envision, how you strategize, and then how you execute things is all three of steps that we are looking at is very important when it comes to conducting any hackathons and picking up the right talent. I will now move to Sujay. Sujay, help me understand. You are the principal engineering here, and you're somebody who knows this by core. So tell me and tell our developers majorly that why should developers actually participate in such competitions? What is the importance, and why does it hold so much of relevance in today's time?
Sure. So by the way, at Persistent, we also hold internal hackathons for the very same reason that I'm going to give now. I gave an analogy of a fish in the pond versus fish in the ocean. And the reason why I did that is because in my career so far, I have seen people, like I used to work at a hardware company, and every company needs to have a software, right? Software department to do some things. No company can live without software. People working in niche areas, working on niche technologies, over time become outdated. They don't realize it, but they become outdated. And then you become a person who is not employable anywhere, right? So it's better to get out there to see what's there in the ocean, pick up new skills, and this is the best opportunity to do that. So that's my take on that.
Thank you. That was short, crisp, and very straight. I'm sure the comparison that you're trying to draw and upskill is something that you would want to tell them, because a consistency there when you require to update yourself with what's going on, what's trending, and what is actually in demand in the market is something that the developers should constantly look for. So thank you so much for that, Sujay. I will now move to Mukesh. Mukesh, how do you think hackathons and coding competitions such as Code Gladiators help businesses to grow as well as solve business problems? You have HP is also given out business problem to our participants this time. From the business perspective, how do you think this works out?
So I think one of the ways we have done, and I've seen the innovation evolve in the last 11 years in India. One of the things which we always used to have, people with experience used to always work on it, and then they would get certain view, 2 people, 3 people, 6 people working on a problem. But now we have exposed the problem to like crowdsourcing, right? We are exposing the problem to thousands of people. Now they get to see what actually the organization go through building some of the large software, some of the great product like HP, like Microsoft, like Google. What do they go through to build certain things? How do companies like consulting companies like Persist and Capgemini and other companies get involved, Tech Mahindra, get involved to solve those problems? But now each of these fresh minds has this opportunity. So now when they are doing something, and I always love it. Even at Capgemini, we conduct a lot of hackathon, and a couple of universities I conduct hackathon. But one thing I find out that every time I do something, recently I did a hackathon on sustainability. Every time I see something, I get some new ideas, right? So for the business, it becomes good to get some new ideas, of course. But at the same time, we can find those good people, those sharp people who have those ideas. Sometimes idea is worthwhile. Sometimes there's people with those ideas come. I think this is a good platform for us to bridge the gap further between the academia and the industry, and at the same time get that exposure to these students, which normally in the past they would have not got without participating in the hackathon. So that is I think the win-win situation we have from the business side of it as well.
Thank you so much for that. Hasit, tell me that, developers are leveraging coding competitions, as, Sujay also mentioned about updating themselves. But help us understand from the career development perspective that how can developers actually leverage such coding competitions for better career development and upskilling? Because those are the 2 important aspects that Sujay also touched upon.
Yeah, I think again, I will draw a parallel to sports. I think all of us would know that what IPL has done for the cricketing community, correct? And I'll draw the parallel of what Corina said, bringing ecosystem together. IPL has brought an ecosystem of broadcasters, players, and the individual country team together and created a platform by which newer and sharper players are coming, newer styles are coming, newer way of playing coming together because of the controlled manner in which they get tested, like an hackathon platform or this thing in a very short formats. You get tried and tested in a real life environment, and the different, because you learn from each other. Your learning is pretty diverse in nature. You measure constantly on a quantifiable manner. Otherwise, on a resume or interview basis, you don't know how to quantify your skill. But through this programming platform, you quantify the skill, you compare the skills, and reinvent yourself and try to solve it in a different manner. The IPL has changed the game of the cricket completely globally, and it has become largest platform. Similarly, the hackathon platform or coding platform is doing the same piece. They provide an ecosystem of bringing things together. They provide opportunity. They bring the competition spirit. They allow people to reinvent themselves. And when these skills, and they lose and they win, so they know how spirit of losing and spirit of winning and spirit of recovering, correct? So while it's programming, but every time they get ranked and they get passed or failed with certain score, they have to reinvent, they have to reflect on themselves. So this is a constant habit of learning and reinventing is a byproduct of participating in these kind of platform, which makes them very good professional, and this techniques is proven in the sports area or any arts area where the competition leads to reinvention of the capabilities. And now we are mimicking this in our industry in a very scalable manner, technology driven manner, correct? Unlike in sports and arts and other areas, the technology platform will become limitations to scale this thing. Now this provides a global platforms, all countries talents can be participating together, and you see yourself where do you stand in a global era. So suddenly you know where you stand in a global arena. And of course, as a consumer of these talents, I think you always get best of breed thing chosen. You throw your problems, your customer relevant problems, and get the best idea. So I think it's a best way to potentially, I would say, as of now, one of the best way to do your own career development, learn yourself, rank yourself, invent yourself, and do better from your competition. So yeah.
Thank you. I think that that comparison that you were drawn with IPL is very contemporary and is very much relevant to what this entire fest is all about. And I'm sure it's happening at organization level. It's happening at a national level, and everybody's trying to work on that innovation that we're just talking about. So thank you so much for that, Hasit. I will now move to Rajaneesh. So Rajaneesh, when a hackathon or any adathon that we speak about is created has a purpose, right? How do you think crowdsourcing ideas through hackathons can be used to co-design new human-centric services that creates impact or is for any social being? We have seen so many hackathons and adathon, being worked upon for social well-being as well as for creating a certain impact. So how do you think crowdsourcing the ideas works?
Sure. Yeah, some of the new age themes or the new age needs, like I think my colleague mentioned about sustainability hackathon earlier. There is so much to be done in these areas, right? And when you do a hackathon on, let's say, sustainability, the ideas that you get are really surprisingly refreshing, right? So very new. So that really helps. That's number one. And you might have areas which you have never thought about, and you can start making a huge impact on both the inside the enterprise as well as outside the enterprise. That's number one. Second, I think hackathons can also be leveraged in terms of identifying what can be done for let's say an existing product or an existing process, right? So you have a product out there in the market, people who are using it, people who are leveraging it, not just the coders, but even others can come in based on their experience, share new improvements that needs to be done on that product, whether it is to improve customer experience, whether it is to improve the sustainability aspect of it, whether it is to improve, let's say, some of the reports or dashboards. If you take digital health for an example, you may be getting a lot of lab reports or personal health records, etc. But how can it be done better, right? So those ideas are great from a social purpose point of view. And sometimes this can be done in very different, even regions, you may get different results. Age groups, you may get different results. So you need to leverage that, right? So if you run an event like that in India, you may get a few ideas which are relevant to market in India, but if you do something in Australia, it will be very different, right? So that's a kind of benefit which is very specific to that particular geography, particular socio-economic culture that you can leverage. Third example I would call out is accessibility for a theme, right? So accessibility as a theme. You have a product and there may be a lot of challenges out there from an accessibility perspective. That's an area where I have seen a lot of new ideas coming in when you do events like hackathon, right? It could be any special needs like accessibility that can be very important for such events, bringing in social impact as well as benefiting the product or enterprises to make a change that is beneficial to the society.
Thank you so much, Rajaneesh. I think you've given us three fantastic visions of why we are crowdsourcing ideas. Thank you so much for that. I will now move to Suhas. So Suhas, we have an machine learning hackathon challenge up for our participants this year at Gladiators 2022. I would want you to tell us that, do you think these competitive programming is a new norm, and this can be the future of hiring or acquiring developers at organizations?
Of course, right? And that's one of the reasons why we are sponsoring the hackathon. So if you want targeted talent, I think these hackathons are a great vehicle, and we will, and the industry will continue to use this as a vehicle to hire talent, right? Maybe there are two things. I'll just touch upon what Hasit mentioned, right? The IPL thing that really caught my attention. Maybe there are two things that we need to do as maybe code gladiators and all the platforms that run this competition. One is, how do we build trust in the result, right? For example, plagiarism, we had IPL when it was started, you know what happened, right? Money laundering, etc. So how do we build trust in the system, and how do we improve the evaluations and are consistent so that we get the right talent and the interview process becomes easy? So definitely, right, a great platform to hire. I think many panelists spoke about how we can engage talent, measure ourselves, fish in the pond, right? Excellent comments made. We will hire, and it will be a vehicle to hire going forward also. It is just that we may need to do two things. One is the sanity, trust in the platform, as well as scale, right? If you look at how many people are now participating in the hackathons, right, it is maybe less than 1% of the community, right? The community of engineers who can participate and get benefited. So we need to see how to scale as well as how to improve the trust. But it's a good hiring vehicle for sure.
So I think our developers are, actually going there. Organizations are going there. We are trying to evolve even the hiring process and looking at picking up talent. Yes, Rajesh, you have something to say. Please go ahead. Rajesh, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So I think while we're talking about the developers and programming as such here, very, very impactful in that area, I want to add a few other areas, right? For example, data science, right? That's a huge topic where hackathons can make an impact. You may not be doing coding, but how can you leverage algorithms? And that's probably the future of some of this programming asset. Other one is no-code platforms, right? So where again, programming may be less, but using no-code platforms or probably like tools like UiPath in RPA, right? How can you come up with completely new areas which can be done? Less of programming, that's why I wanted to call out there are probably many other areas beyond programming we can leverage hackathons as well.
Thank you so much, Rajesh, for that. Yes, Mukesh, please.
Yeah. So I think Rajneesh brought a very good point about sustainability, accessibility part and all. I think one of the things, if you notice, the Gen Z, one of the things, if you have done research on this, people are more connected to a purpose. And what could be a bigger purpose than the sustainability part? Definitely, that is very, very important. Accessibility also, right? At Microsoft, we used to have this mantra. We used to call it not accessibility for disability. Accessibility was, usability for everybody, including people with disability. I think those are some of the key elements where people get excited, and some of the ideas we get are really good. And we ran a hackathon recently with a combination of Millionaire Garage, which I have at Capgemini, which is primarily doing this, and some other universities we connected with. And we ran this hackathon for sustainability for Amazon delivery. And this hackathon, we won the first prize there. And imagine just fresh students working on a hackathon by Amazon, and we got the first prize primarily because we were able to showcase that ordering same day, ordering next day is a lot more damaging to the environment than ordering for 3 or 4 days later. Those things that and Amazon liked it as well. So some of those parts, again, fresh ideas and all can go a long way and then win some prizes also. And by the way, we are now embedding the solution in Capgemini and helping solve a lot of organizations in their sustainability journey as well. So I think some of those parts to the purpose also excites a lot of people, and hackathon we can get more ideas there. I just want to add to what Rajneesh mentioned. Thanks, Rajneesh, for bringing the topic.
Thanks, Mukesh. Yes, Corina.
Yeah, just to be sure. I think right now the hackathon is the most accessible and accepted way to invite the entire organization to be innovative. Like, it doesn't sound boring, it doesn't sound like much of structure, too many workshops, too much of a frame, too many decision making. Like, you put it there, you put some rules, you let people to have fun with it, and is the most acceptable, because we are also using it internally in UiPath. And this is what I see right now. Is the easiest way to invite everyone to be innovative.
Right, and I think when you add fun and you give that perspective of competition there, it gives you the right intent of bringing on people together, work on something new, and then set up the excitement which has a purpose. Hackathons has purpose. Hackathons an objective of finding the right idea, maybe for a business problem, or maybe for a social impact that is created, or maybe when we talk about health tech, there are so many things that people are still working on. Health tech industry is like into there, looking at AI, looking at machine learning. How can we can solve problems at a level wherein human intervention is minimized, and we are trying to automate everything. So it's very interesting for us, for a platform like TechGig, to look at people, to see IT experts, IT domain people, organizations coming together, giving out their problems and finding out solutions through the ideas, with the common people out there, and setting up a competition for these people, wherein you have an intent of finding the right talent, finding the business problem. I think it's fantastic for us. It gives us a sort of an adrenaline rush here, that we see all of them coming together and working upon something. Yes, Sujay, you have something to say?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good way to bring in startup kind of a culture in large organizations. So that's how I would
Right.
put it.
Right. So I had a superb time, communicating with each one of you. Suhas, do you have something to add here?
No, I just wanted, the whole industry is moving towards diversity. So one of the
Yes.
ways, right, hackathon can help you to become really a good diverse organization, right? Accept opinions and from everywhere.
Yeah. So I had a superb time communicating with all of you. This conversation has given me so much excitement about what is coming up next for our audience in the finale. But before we go back to the live event, to the main event here, I would want each one of you to give me the closing remarks and wish our finalists all the best and good luck for the results that we're about to declare. So Suhas, will begin with you. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, all the best. Keep participating in such hackathons, and means as organizers, you please continue with this great initiative. Thank you for hosting me.
Thank you, Suhas. Mukesh?
Yeah, I would advise all of them all the best, definitely, but also at the same time, this is the beginning, not the end of the career. This is starting point, and always remember, पूछने में क्या जाता है attitude, wherein you're open to always challenge and see if something works out for you. Definitely looking forward for that.
Thank you so much, Mukesh. Sujay?
So what I would say is that, I wish all the best to everyone, but don't worry about the competition. Let the most creative solution come out of you.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Sujay, for that. Hasit? You're on mute, Hasit. We cannot hear you. Yes.
All the best to everyone, and enjoy the journey of participation and execution. Win and loss and our ranking will keep happening, but enjoy the journey. All the best.
Thank you, Hasit. Corina?
Thank you, everyone, for showing your ideas. It's impressive to see your ideas. Keep yourself in the driver's seat. You belong there, even if you are the winner, even if you are not. Do that. Continue to do that, because you are starting and continuing a movement into the business space, into the technology space with what you're doing there. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Corina. Rajneesh?
Yeah, so thank you to the participants and people who are contributing here, because it's a great forum for all of us to learn from you. And I hope you continue to learn as well in this process and enjoy this process. And at the same time, for the industry, I think this is going to be not, as I think one of you mentioned, it's just the start of such events, right? So there are a lot of them that will continue to be here. And I hope the industry starts benefiting more and more from these events as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rajneesh. So, I'm really grateful for this entire conversation, and thank you for sharing all those insights that you have shared with us and our audience today. I'm sure we're taking home so many learnings from each one of you, and I had a superb time, as I mentioned earlier. Thank you so much for being here, ladies and gentlemen. Before we sign off and wrap up this conversation, can we please have a cheers for our participants? Telling them that we are here, all the very best for the finale and the results that we are actually giving out. Right? Thank you so much for being here. This calls for a wrap. Thank you so much once again. We will now head towards the live event and see what's happening there and what's next. Thank you.